Hi, my name's Gwyneth Kozbial. I live in Hesperia, California, Southern California, and I have the British Beatles albums covers. In America, they had different albums, but in Britain, these are the albums they had. There are 13 of them. They're laid out in chronological order, but not the order that I made them in. I started with Revolver, which is in the middle there. I had that at Bricks LA in January, so I made it last year sometime. I started with that one because it was the most complicated. It's a collage of photos, which doesn't translate well to Lego at all, and I wanted to find a way to translate it, to do something I thought was impossible. And then I decided to make all of them. And I wanted to do each one using a different technique. The second one I made was A Hard Day's Night, which I used a cheese slope technique, but I found that you could only do it in very small quantities, so it's 3D, so that, because I wanted to do each of the picture frames using that, so every alternate one is pushed out so that all of them could fit in the frame. I wanted them, they're all on the 48 by 48 base plates. I wanted to use a consistent size to force myself to make the technique adapt to the picture. After that one, what did I do after that one? I think I did Please Please Me next, because when I was looking online for Beatles Lego things, I didn't find many people had done Beatles Lego. And I thought the brickheads were perfect for that album because they were supposed to be kind of generic mop tops at that point. So using the generic brickhead format make them all look the same, but they really aren't. They do have a lot of details, and it took a lot. The challenge with that one was trying to get the perspective in it.
Oh yeah. It's great, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, so that was the biggest challenge. It's not perfect, but it's as perfect as I can do with Lego.
Well, I think a really cool thing about this thing is it's 3D, so when you're standing here, you're walking around, or obviously our viewers in the video that John's capturing right now will be able to see these guys, coming out of the frame, if you will, or coming out of the album cover, but in a still image from the right angle. The perspective is really something, so you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Yes, a lot of these I feel like they don't take pictures very well. They don't photograph well because when I built them, I built in your own movement into the process, especially after that is with the Beatles. That one I tried to, it's a very iconic image and it's very two-dimensional. I tried to put the third dimension back in so that you felt like you were in the room when they were taking the picture. So you standing here in front of it, moving around, is built into it, so a still image doesn't really catch it. But if you walk around it, I think it does.
Yeah, it's really great, an additional kind of experience. But I think they probably photograph better than you think they do. But yeah, being here, and I hope the video moving around gives us a better experience.
After that, I did Beatles for Sale, and in that picture, in that image, the diffuse quality of the image around them is what catches me the most. And so you can pixelate the faces and try to get that in the same way, but it's really the area. They're in a park, and the diffuse light behind them and the fuzzy leaves around them is what I was trying to go for in addition.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
And after that, I made Rubber Soul after that, and that one's pretty straightforward with the pixels and the cheeses. And
that's next, right, with the green leaves?
With the green leaves, yes. And then I probably made Sgt. Pepper, which I was trying to do with the Miniland scale.
Right. Okay, let's go walk down there by Sgt. Pepper, and can you tell us, you did this in Miniland scale. This is really cool. Part of it is the image that I'm thinking you sort of took from the album cover, and then the rest is assembled. So tell us a little bit more about this.
Yes, I felt like I had already tried to make tiny little pictures with Lego in Revolver, so I didn't want to do that. And a little part of me thinks it's cheating I printed it out and colored it in and taped it up and built the rest around it. But I feel that was the best solution because I really wanted to focus on building a scene like when they were taking the picture. So with the Miniland scale and the wax figures and the figures themselves.
Yeah, that's really great. Okay, where are we headed next?
After that, I probably made Let It Be at the end.
Okay.
And part of that is a kind of straightforward pixelation, but with a lot more colors than I had worked with before. But I also, like in John's hair, to try to get the color, I had to use trans pieces on top of the other. So you think of the color of the piece, but also the color underneath it. Also with the cheeses, and some of them are pushed out more than others, so that there's kind of a 3D effect to make the picture more than just a flat image.
Yeah, I love George's smile in this. It's just a perfect representation of that photograph, using such simple pieces, and I think Paul's mic cable sort of sticking out there in 3D.
Thank you. I worked so long on George's. That one sat around for a long time. I'll build it and then I'll sit it and make sure that it looks right. But George's smile, I had a lot of different iterations because I used the quarter tiles, and that wasn't right. I tried studs, I tried cheeses, but it was only those particular rounded tiles, and I had to peel them off of other sets because I did not have 4. Or 6. 6, I did not have them.
Okay, what do you think is next?
Then I probably would have been, Magical Mystery Tour, which also uses the idea of the color, but also the color behind it. I got the stars. I knew I wanted from the get-go I wanted to do it with the stars. I got those off the wall at the LEGO house in Billund. They had those. They have a fish set that you use the stars in. So I had a big bag of stars, and I wanted to try to get the animals that they're dressed up as, and so I had to go through all of the minifigures' heads and helmets to try to get the one that was closest.
That's really fun.
And then there's White Album, which I didn't want to just make a white cover with tiles. That would be way too easy and simplistic. So when you bought the White Album in the 60s, there were posters that came with it. They're color posters, and I had to distill them down to just being white. So I tried to use tile and stud, and then the flower stud as well, to get the different gradations of the picture so you can see their faces.
So the White Album was literally just white.
It was
correct?
just white with a stamp that said the Beatles, and the original ones, they printed the first, I don't remember, 100,000 or whatever, they had embossed the number of which album it was. So somebody has the Beatles 000001.
Okay, that's awesome. And then, let's see.
Then I did Yellow Submarine, which is, I think it might be my favorite. I like using minifigure parts in unusual ways, and I'm really happy with the submarine, and there's the elves dragons. The ridge of the backbone gets the curve of the yellow that's on the submarine, so I'm really proud of that one.
Oh, and the top of the Bart Simpson heads, that's really funny.
Yeah. I had a lot of those because they were in the dimensions that showed up at the dollar store.
Sure.
And then I did Help, which is lenticular. If you look at it from one side on the top, it says Help, and if you look on the other side, it says Beatles. Originally, I thought maybe I would make it twice as big and have the whole album lenticular, because the arm movements they make don't actually say H-E-L-P, so I thought maybe I would have it do the arm movements that do say H-E-L-P from one side, but I really wanted to stay with just the one size scale. And there's also Braille for Help in there. I was inspired when they started to make the LEGO Braille pieces, and I put that in.
That's really fantastic. So you've done all of these in about the last 6 months?
Yeah. Oh, and the last one's the Abbey Road. That was the last one I did, and it has a lot more horizontal building than the other ones. That was the most intimidating one for me, because in Legoland, California, in one of the restaurants, there's a fan-built version of Abbey Road. It's like a 3D model, and it can't be improved on. It's just perfect, but it's 3D, so what I'm doing is different. But it was intimidating because it's so perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, that's all of them.
This is good stuff. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. I guess I should say, you must be a Beatles fan.
Yes.
How long have you been a Beatles fan?
Since I was 12. Yeah, in 6th grade, they asked you, what do you like? And I said, I like the Beatles. And then that was it.
And how long have you been building with Lego?
Maybe like 5 years.
Okay.
Not a whole lot, yeah.
All right. So you've brought 2 of your loves together here.
Yes. And I was surprised to find that even though there's the Yellow Submarine set, that there wasn't a lot out there.
Yeah.
So I tried to fill that gap.
Well, good job. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about your beautiful Beatles album covers. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.